Good morning, everybody. This is CBS19 Meteorologist Joel Robinson. Thank you so much for joining me today and on CBS19 Plus and as well as YouTube and Facebook. We got some storms on the way for tomorrow, your Valentine's Day, looking a little bit on the soggy side. So I'm going to help you kind of plan your day out as we head into tomorrow. So that is what we are going to be watching for the most part as we head into tomorrow. So we got a stormy Saturday up ahead. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is when we do have that weather impact alert in place. It's mainly going to be a soaking rain, not ruling out maybe some gusty winds up to about 60 miles per hour, maybe some severe winds in there. But it's a very low end chance. It's mainly going to be some heavy rain there. So if you do plan on heading out, make sure those windshield wipers are working. And again, make sure those Valentine's Day plans are indoors if you haven't made them indoors already. Definitely not going to be a day where you can really just walk in the park or anything like that. So as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma has highlighted all of East Texas in a 1 out of 5 risk for severe thunderstorms. That basically means 1 or 2 locations within this green shaded area could see a severe thunderstorm warning or 2. And the most severe thing we could likely see, should we see any severe weather, is going to be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But again, it's really going to be on the lower end of things. We are lacking in the warm temperature department. We're only going to be in the 60s, which is also going to be limiting our storm energy. But we do have lots of available moisture. We do have low-level wind shear. That's that wind energy that is there to kind of support maybe some gusty winds. We also have that ignition ingredient. So these storms aren't going to be just forming that by themselves through the heat of the day. We have a strong cold front on the way, which will be forcing these storms into development. So good news is no rotating supercells. Those are your rotating thunderstorms that will give you tornadoes. That does look to be on the lower end of things, pretty much non-existent at this point. And again, storm energy remaining pretty low as a result of some of those cooler temperatures. But for today, just the occasional drizzle or 2, occasional showers, kind of some broken clouds out there, upper 70s and low 80s for the afternoon. Clouds will continue to stream in from the south and west. We'll begin things on Saturday with temperatures in the low to mid 60s, hanging on to that cloud cover. Then we move into noon. It's already in some of our northern counties, ranging from Canton all the way up to Linden. That heavy line of thunderstorms, maybe a couple of prefrontal thunderstorms, pre-line thunderstorms could develop just ahead of this line. And it'll continue to make its track here across deep East Texas by the time we get to the afternoon hours. So by 3 o'clock, we're expecting this line to be kind of broken across Marshall, Henderson, Jacksonville, all the way down to Crockett. It'll continue to make progress all the way through deep East Texas. And by the time we get to around 6 or 7 o'clock, those dinnertime plans looking a little bit soggy in some parts of the area. Pretty heavy across deep East Texas, though. And that's going to be the end of round 1. We could have a couple of lighter showers just behind that main line. And then we have another line that will be coming through. I'm not really too terribly concerned about this line. I do expect it to be a little bit less so in the way of intensity, more so run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. So we just have that one line to deal with. And then later in the night, you might hear a couple rumbles of thunder, maybe say around 11 or midnight for tomorrow night. And then by the time we get to Sunday, it's pretty cloudy to start. We got 50s to start, and we'll end up in the 60s to near 70 to wrap up the day. Winds out of the north. We got some cooler temperatures there and a little bit more sunshine as well. And again, above all of this, should we see severe weather or not, we definitely are going to be seeing plenty of rainfall, and it's going to be much, much appreciated. Unfortunately, the timing isn't really the best, right? But at least 1 to 2 inches of rainfall, maybe even a little bit above that in some locations. So this is going to put a sizable dent in our drought conditions that we have right now. We're around 5 to 6 inches below average for the season, and roughly around 1 to 2, maybe a little over 2 inches below average for this time in 2026. Now, there's obviously a ton of time in 2026 to really make up for that, but this is going to help us out as we head into tomorrow and Sunday. So what are we looking at here? Again, watch out for isolated strong wind gusts. Could have some severe wind gusts in there. A severe wind gust is characterized by 58-mile-an-hour winds or higher. That's going to be your severe category. So we could see a couple locations with those strong wind gusts there, or even severe. Reduced visibility while driving, absolutely. Very heavy rain, that'll reduce your visibilities greatly. And with that amount of rain in that short amount of time, you could have some standing high water. You definitely could see some areas flood. I do expect flash flooding to be kind of a concern as we head into tomorrow, so definitely watch out for some of those maybe low-lying areas, areas with poor drainage. They're not going to be in really good shape, especially after these thunderstorms. So by the time we start out Valentine's Day, it's mainly cloudy. Could have a couple of showers. We're pretty dry until we get to noon, 2 o'clock. That's when we're going to start to see that line come through. And then by the time we wrap up the day, say 6 or 7 o'clock, it all turns to just lighter rain, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder. So really, across the area, noon to around 6 o'clock, that's going to be the window, at least when it comes to the latest data sets for now. But we do have that weather impact alert out until 9 p.m. For that second line of thunderstorms as well. So can't rule out maybe an additional couple of hours there, give it a little bit of leeway there as far as that line is concerned. So plan 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. as far as kind of planning things for around the thunderstorms that come through. So that's what we have there. 100% chance of thunderstorms. It's a weather impact alert. Could be heavy at some times. Couple of showers could be a possibility early Sunday, but most of the day will feature, well, at least the first half of the day will feature clouds. The second half will feature some sunshine, slightly cooler temperatures in the middle to upper 60s. Now we're on our way back up into the 70s, 80s. It's going to be great. And our next chance of rain could arrive Friday and Saturday of next week. We could be watching another cold front. It's not going to be all that strong, but it will spark a couple rain chances there. So we'll be watching that closely. But Saturday, also going to be watching closely in the near term. I have the Facebook chat up right now, so if you have any questions about the forecast, feel free to comment below. I will be happy to answer. But I'm going to actually cycle through these graphics one more time. For those of you who are just joining, thank you so much for joining me this morning on CBS 19 Plus, YouTube, and Facebook. So this is what we have again. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is when we do have that weather impact alert out all the way through the day. Now that line, as far as the latest data sets, again, is between noon all the way to 6 o'clock. So basically within that time, we'll see that line move through. As far as the latest data sets go, it's one line, one strong line. There is a secondary line that'll arrive sometime after 9 o'clock, maybe run until midnight, but I don't expect that to be too impactful there. Could have some rumbles of thunder in there, maybe some heavy rainfall, but it's all in all a very soaking rain, good beneficial rainfall. We need it badly. So again, if you're heading out for maybe some date night plans for Valentine's Day, make sure those windshield wipers are working and move those Valentine's Day plans indoors for sure. And again, Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, putting us in a 1 out of 5 risk for severe thunderstorms. That's an isolated risk. 1 or 2 severe thunderstorm warnings is all I'm really expecting for tomorrow. And this is really the reason why. We're lacking in some ingredients, but really sufficient in others. So it's not really coming together too well for a widespread severe weather event, which is good. We don't need that, especially for Valentine's Day, right? So we're lacking in the warm temperatures, which also makes our storm energy fall. So we're lacking in the heat. We're not going to see too much energy, but we have the moisture available to get these thunderstorms to actually become to basically exist, I should say. We also have low-level wind shear. That's that wind energy that tilts the updraft away from the downdraft. That intensifies the storms a little bit. So we'll see some intense thunderstorms at times, not expecting to be too widespread. We got a cold front. That's our ignition ingredient. So that is what we got there. We got the thunderstorms able to trigger off of that to a strong extent, minorly across some parts of the area. Rotating supercells. Supercell is a rotating thunderstorm. We're not expecting to see that. And if we don't have any rotating thunderstorms, the tornado risk is non-existent. So that's good news there. So 70s for today, upper 70s, maybe even near 80 in some parts of the area. The occasional drizzle or two, but otherwise we're going to be good. 60s to start Saturday. There comes the line. Here's Saturday at noon, extending from Athens, Mineola, Gilmer all the way to Linden. And then we go into the next few hours. Here's 3 o'clock. So Jefferson, Longview, Henderson, Jacksonville, all the way down to Crockett. You're going to be on deck for that at around 3 o'clock. Maybe a few lighter showers just behind this main band of thunderstorms just behind it. And then once we get to around 6 o'clock, it's all pretty much in deep East Texas at this point. So Center, St. Augustine, Sabine counties, Hemp Hill, you're going to be getting in on those heavier thunderstorms there around 6 o'clock. It's pretty clear for the most part. Can't rule out maybe a couple of showers, a few rumbles of thunder in there. And then there's a second round that comes in around 11 o'clock at night. I don't expect this to be too terribly heavy. Could be heavy at some points, but not expecting any severe weather overall, even with that second line. And then we're all done. By Sunday and onward until we get to next Friday, we're tracking our next cold front. We could see a couple more showers off of that. But again, here we go, 1 to 2, maybe a little bit above that. Could have 2.3 inches in Jacksonville. Obviously, these are going to be changing as the model runs continue to come out, but we are expecting a good deal of rainfall. This is going to be some good beneficial rainfall. We definitely need it. And unfortunately, it's going to be a lot at once. So flash flooding certainly not going to be out of the question here. So again, here you go. Here's the weather impact alert. Watch for isolated strong wind gusts, maybe even severe wind gusts. 58 miles an hour or higher is considered severe. I expect maybe a couple of locations to see that, but it's not really going to be all that widespread. Of course, with the heavy rain, reduced visibilities while driving, certainly want to be careful of that. Standing high water from the flash flooding that could occur, especially in those lower lying areas or areas of poor drainage. The drainage systems may be blocked. Those are going to be pretty bad. You know, maybe some intersections that are a little bit lower. Expect those to flood possibly. So again, keep that in mind as you're heading out for tomorrow. It's pretty much dry until noon, and then we get to 2. Thunderstorms all the way until around 6 o'clock. Then it turns to kind of just rain, thunder, lightens up after that. We could have that secondary round around 11 o'clock at night, but that is not going to be too impactful, luckily. So your 7-day forecast again looking like this. 79 for today, mostly cloudy skies. The clouds ahead of that next system with a 100% chance of rain for tomorrow. 68. Weather impact alert. So that's what we got there. 67 for Sunday, and then back up to the 70s as we head into Monday, Tuesday, up to 81 for Wednesday, 80 for Thursday, and we got another cold front on the way for Friday. We could have some showers there. We'll keep you updated on that. But that is what we got. I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to stay weather aware. Download CBS19 Plus on your smart TV. We'll be streaming there periodically. Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony will be in later today with some of the latest data. Also, download that CBS19 app on your phone. You can turn on notifications to receive weather alerts from the National Weather Service and, of course, weather updates from the CBS19 weather experts here in the CBS19 Weather Center. But you definitely want to make sure to stay weather aware and definitely plan around this right here. So we'll keep you updated throughout the day, but for now, we'll send it back to regular programming.